Hello students, today we are going to continue the reading of the remaining part of the poem from unit number 4, which goes by the name The Vet. I am sure you remember that the poem has been written by Guy Boas and he has written the same in a very light-hearted, humorous manner. The poet tells us what makes a veterinary doctor competent and different from other doctors who treat human beings. Since animals and birds vary in size, shape, and their anatomy is entirely different from each other. Their ailments also are quite different from each other. This itself makes the task of treating them a difficult task. The poet specially mentions the unusual behavior and mannerisms of some of the animals and birds, which makes it fun to read. We have already read half of the poem last time and we continue reading the same. Let's start. If hyenas will not laugh at keeper's jokes, if the monkeys pinched his tail, if the rhino is looking pale. So again in this stanza, which we had read already halfway that day, if giraffes have had a tiff and their necks are feeling stiff, if hyenas will not laugh at keeper's jokes, if the monkeys pinched his tail, if the rhino is looking pale. Again here in this stanza we can see what all problems the vet may come across and what diagnosis is going to make is a very difficult diagnosis because each and every animal is different. Not only is he different in his anatomy, maybe some are carnivorous, some are herbivorous, they have got different constitution, their behavior is different, so on and so forth. We had already read that day that each animal has got a different inside, meaning internal organs and biological processes are quite different, unlike human beings and their body. Okay, so that day also we have seen a vet has to be really skilled and knowledgeable about them and learn about various diseases or problems that can affect them. Let's read ahead. If the elephant eats paper bags and chokes, if the camel hurts his hump, if the kangaroo won't jump, if the crocodile turns cannibal and bites, they run away and get that omniscient, the vet, and expect him to put everything to rights. So here is the point which is brought out. What all things are taken to a vet? What all problems? If the elephant has eaten paper bags and he is choking because of that, maybe getting pain because of that. If the camel hurts his hump, I'm sure everybody has seen a camel, and a rounded fleshy mass on his back is known as a hump. Sometimes he may have a problem with the hump. Maybe it's paining, hurting. If the kangaroo won't jump, why is it that the kangaroo is not jumping? If the crocodile turns cannibal, I am sure everybody of you knows that cannibal is someone who eats human flesh. So in all such problems, they will bring the animal to whom? To one omniscient. Who is omniscient? Omniscient is someone who knows all and knows everything. Here, that term has been used for none other than the animal doctor, and that is the vet. And not only that, because he knows everything, naturally he is supposed to put everything to rights. Means whether it is a problem of hyena, whether it is a problem of elephant, whether it is a problem of camel or a crocodile or a monkey or a rhino or a donkey or a cat, the vet is supposed to know everything and is supposed to treat them and bring everyone to right path, means make them well. I hope you have understood the point. Profoundly I pity the vet who must learn such a great deal for his pay. My son, I advise you most strongly to earn your living in an easier way. Don't attempt to attend the zoological crowd. A far more advisable plan is to call yourself doctor and so be allowed to treat the illness of man. So, here in the last lines of the poem, the poet says that I greatly, deeply pity the vet. Why does the poet says that he profoundly pities the vet? The reason is that vet is supposed to know so many details, and it is practically, I to feel it is not possible for any vet to know so many things. So even if he goes on learning, and still it will be very difficult for him. So here the poet is advising the readers that it is better to become a doctor of humans and treat the illnesses of man rather than trying to become a vet and treat the zoological crowd. Now the question is whether the writer or the poet is really advising the reader not to become a vet to earn his living. No, I think he is not actually telling the readers not to become a veterinary doctor, but he is saying so in a very light note, on a very light note. But he definitely wants to make a point. What point the poet wants to make? That if you are really going to become a vet, then he is trying to make the reader aware how difficult the work of treating animals is going to be. What a wide variety of patients you can expect. What different types of illness and what different types of organs. And they not even best, the worst part is that they cannot even discuss their problems with him. So he has to acknowledge all these problems and then decide what he has got to become. So I'm sure, don't take it lightly he is saying I pity the vet because he has to do so much of work. In reality, I believe that he wants to make this point that if you at all decide the career to become a veterinarian doctor, then be prepared to put in a lot of efforts. Okay. Now, my dear students, the rhyme scheme of different stanzas, the different figures of speech used, and the questions and the critical appreciation of the poem we are going to do in the next session. Okay. So that will be all for today. Thank you.